Welcome back, students, to the third chapter of your book, that is Business Environment, and the last chapter in Unit 1, which was total of 16 marks. And if we talk about the weightage of this particular chapter, it's around 6 out of these 16 marks. And in this year's sample paper itself, a 6 4-mark and 2 1-markers have been asked from this chapter. So we have covered a total number of 3 topics in this chapter with number of questions over the past 5-year question papers as 10. So the very first topic being features of business environment we are going to discuss now. So students, if you see the page number 71 of your NCERT, you will get to know that this particular topic has been talked about. Page 71 in your book, it says the basis of the foregoing discussion, we have some features of as related with the business environment, and these features have been talked in great detail on this page. So if you want to remember all the features of business environment, आपको एक छोटी सी ट्रिक याद रखनी है. गर्मी का समय आ रहा है, आप याद रखें दही. Yes, you will be surprised to know that how curd is the acronym for this. और आप ऐसे याद रखें कि ऐसी दही means you have to remember ESI, ऐसी, और दही को अंग्रेजी में बोलेंगे curd. ऐसी दही आ रही है इस गर्मी के मौसम में, तो ये आपके हैं features of business environment. Now let us see how. So first of all, E standing for external forces. All these features are totality of external forces. S represents specific and general forces as nature of these principles. And then I represents interrelatedness of the elements of business environment. C represents complexity in its nature. U represents the uncertainty. R represents relativeness, that is discussed as the last feature, while D represents dynamism in the nature of characteristics of business environment. तो आपको ये याद रखना है. Now let us discuss what exactly you are supposed to write from NCERT if this point comes as a long question. So totality of external forces, we mean by this that business environment is nothing but the sum total of all the external things to it. External might be political environment, economical, social, technological, and so on. Then we have to talk about that environment includes both kinds of forces, specific as well as general. If we say specific forces, students, you must remember that it forms the micro environment of an enterprise with investors, competitors, customers, suppliers, its employees, and so on. If we talk about the general forces, these are the macro environment constituting an enterprise which includes social, political, legal, technological, economical, and so on. Then I represents interrelatedness. Whenever you speak on this point, you should mention, students, that there are different parts of the environment which are closely linked with each other. Like if we say that in today's world, the people are more conscientious about their health, and thereby health products are in high demand. So this type of interrelatedness, interconnections between two elements in the environment do exist, which has been talked about in this particular feature. Then CURD, C representing complexity. Complexity just shows that due to this interrelatedness and dynamism in the environment, it's very difficult to comprehend at once. We can understand it in parts, but if we try to grasp it as a whole, it becomes quite difficult. So environment is a complex phenomenon that is relatively easier to understand in parts, but difficult to grasp in totality. So these points you must remember, because case studies have come over the past years from this particular point. Then U represents uncertainty. Here uncertainty simply means that it is difficult to predict future. Even in planning you will see that we take few assumptions regarding future called planning premises. So since predictability is difficult for the environmental changes that occur so frequently, that is why this trait of the environment, uncertainty. Then R represents relativity. Whenever we talk about relativity, we simply mean that the concepts of the business environment, they differ from country to country, region to region. So you have to understand, students, that political conditions in particular country do affect and impact their business environment too, and therefore you have to understand the context with reference to relativity. Then D represents dynamic nature, which shows that the environment keeps on changing, whether it is at the economical level or technological level or political level, and make sure you have a ready example of all these points whenever you explain them as a 4-marker or a long question if it comes in your exam. So I hope you can remember easily the features of business environment as ऐसी दही या ऐसी curd, ESI curd, or else you can take this ESI as employee state insurance, if you can remember like that. So ESI, employee state insurance, that can also be learnt, and curd, CURD, दही. तो आप इस तरीके से ज़रूर याद रखें और इसको आंसर करें. थैंक यू.